What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Roy Jones Jr. Y'all must have forgot. Get this. Roy Jones warns Moses Itauma, and he says, don't make the same mistake Anderson has made. And he went on to say, here we go. Well, Itauma is the truth, but you got to move him at a pace to get him in there. The Hall of Fame fighters and former fighters are one of those guys that they got to get pace right. You understand me? I think that if he could end up like Anderson, if Anderson wasn't Anderson at the time because he got pushed too fast. I think that was too fast. I think McCauley was a beast. I think he wasn't ready for that beast at that time. Maybe a couple more fights, but they pushed him. They got razzle-dazzle about the money. They got starstruck, you feel me? And I think what happened, they took it and they thought they could do it, but they couldn't do it because McCauley was way above his pay grade. And I think because he got the pay that he wasn't used to that day, he got his ass whooped and he was there to slay. And that's what I think it was. So I think Moses, he better not do what Anderson did because they were both in the same boat at once upon a time. And I think Anderson was on his way actually faster than Moses Itauma. And they could have had a USA versus UK fight and they could have did and made each other stall. But what happened, that's what happened when you push people. You push them into a situation they ain't supposed to be in. And that's what the situation was in for Jared Anderson to get his ass whooped. And he got his ass whooped. So we don't want that to happen to Moses Itauma. Moses Itauma is a good fighter. He could be a beast, but you can't rush him. You got to go at a pace that's going to be at his originality. You feel me? You understand? So I think, if anything, they need to take their time with him. Dillian White, we'll know Saturday night if he's right for Moses Itauma. But Moses Itauma is a beast, but just let him mature organically. You understand me? And those are the words of Roy Jones Jr. And let me counterpunch. I think Roy's right. I think I've been saying this to everybody, okay? And I think this applies to everyone. However, I will say, is there a difference between Jared Anderson and Moses Itauma? Yes and no. I think Moses is mentally more intact, more developed than Anderson. Because remember, Anderson, I think mentally he lost outside the ring before he got beat inside the ring. Because as you guys can remember, he broke down in front of Roy because I don't think he knew where to go to. He didn't have anywhere to turn. And I think because Roy, the legend, was there, he had to express it to somebody that he felt that he could express it to. Obviously, it wasn't his team, his corner, his promoter, his trainer, his manager, or any of those guys. It was Roy Jones Jr. It had to be someone outside the circle of the people that was pressuring him and expecting him to do a lot. And I think we learned a lot about that before he even took that loss. Because remember, I think that breakdown that he had with Roy, and Roy was there to console him, it gave us an indication mentally that Anderson wasn't where he needed to be. Anderson's focus was not where it needed to be. It was all over the place because, you know, then he ran into his couple police issues. Okay, he ran in with problems with the law and all that stuff. So, you know, all that happened around the same time. And I think that Moses is on a different level mentally. However, could that happen, though, to Moses? I would say, yeah, I think you can rush anybody. I don't give a fuck how good you are. Doesn't matter how good you are, how talented you are. You're only talented based on the opposition in front of you. And if you rush that process, yes, Moses could end up like Jared Anderson. Okay, I just think Moses has it together or outwardly appears to have it together because we don't know his darkest hours. We don't know what's going on but behind closed doors. We just know what, you know, his representative, his facial expressions, the promotion, the PR representative form of himself is, right? We know that part. We don't know anything else about Moses. So Moses might have that. I just think, you know, Jared was in a situation where, you know, he had to let it go because it was some stuff on his mind and in his heart and he had to let it out. And, you know, Roy was there for him. And I think Roy sees that, though. So I don't think Roy is a hater by no stretch of the imagination. I think he sees maybe something in Moses or the way that they're pushing him along or forcing him along or pressuring him along, to fight these guys that he has no business fighting with 12 fucking fights. I said the day in my live, I guess yesterday in my live stream that, this is too early. 12 fights. What do you really think happened to Anthony Joshua when we go there? Okay. Just briefly. Do you think AJ, I think that was he fought Klitschko in his 16th or 17th fight, right? Wasn't it like, he didn't have 20 professional fights, I don't think, before taking on Klitschko, Dr. Steelhammer. So, yeah, and I think mentally, it could be entrapment. You can feel trapped by the pressure and the expectation that people put on you. So that's, I think, is what Roy Jones Jr. is seeing. And he's seeing like, okay, you got him in there with Dillian White. Okay, if he gets past Dillian White, who else are you going to put him in there with? Caballero? I think that's crazy. I think that's mad. Because, he has 12 fights. And then here's the problem, though. Here's the number one problem that I see. If Moses Itauma knocks out Dillian White, it's not going to get any better. It's going to get worse because the more you do for someone or a crew or whatever, for a business company or whatever, the more they're going to expect you to do. See, that's the problem. Oh, he can handle it. Oh, he can take that. Okay, let's put him in there with somebody else. Let's put him in there with somebody harder. Let's push, like Alexander Usyk says, right? Don't push the horses. That's what Roy Jones Jr. is saying. But you guys tell me what you think of Roy Jones Jr. warning Moses Itauma. Don't push the horses. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.